Yo, yo, yo. Alright, here we go. Let's go. What up, y'all? Are we live in effect? Good, y'all. How do we know if I'm live? I don't have my. How y'all doing, man? Welcome, welcome. Still working through a few things. Don't have my chat box popping right now. Kind of upset at that. But if you're on, I'll try to keep, in tune on the app. See if I can make sure I see everything. How y'all feeling, man? How's everybody? Well, it's been interesting getting all of this together. Um, it's a lot to do. Working on some design stuff right now, and I'm gonna get the overlays. I have this overlay right now. This design that we have is just temporary. I just wanted to have something that was a little bit more design than I had last time. But yeah, we're gonna work some things out, have some fun, get into it. Just like one thing I want to do when we first start is just do a check-in. Like real simple, nothing too in depth. Just like being in the present moment and tapping in and seeing like how do you really feel like right now in this moment. How do you feel? And for me, I'll start. I would say I feel a little nervous, right? Still getting this together, still getting the flow of doing this live stream on YouTube and having all these different scenes and everything else set up. Um, I know a lot of people used to having me on Instagram, so this transition has been interesting. But I'm excited because just kind of stepping back into the idea of participating in media, which is something I did for a large portion of my career, whether actually as an editor, as a publisher, and just entrepreneur, or managing different people in the talent space and having to deal and help with them through media, and just tell our stories and create the narrative and everything around to my clients. So, it's been fun. And I know it's gonna take a second to get a rhythm, it's gonna take a second to get a following. But we're here for it. Everybody's gotta start somewhere. And that's the thing that I want to make sure that everybody understands. But this is a personal journey. We all have the opportunity to be creators, create words, create sentences, um, and create solutions constantly throughout the day. We're all creators. I know sometimes we just look at it as being, if I'm in the creative field, if I'm an artist or things like that, but we're just creative as human beings, you know? And what sets us apart is we're authentically us. We're our true selves. We act as the person we are, who just can be natural. I think a lot of the times we act the way that we think other people want to see us or how we feel we should be received. And, it's tough to keep that up. So my goal here is to just inspire you to find your path. Find your path to your best self. And, peel back those layers. It's a journey. It's constant. Um, you are always finding out something new. We're always working on or working through something. There's always, a new layer to reveal, a new challenge to overcome, a new lesson to be learned. And that's just part of life, man. That's the growth. That's the living part. So check-ins, I think, the self, as well as the people's, are just great ways to kind of see where we're at, in this life. Um, and so, when you're here, if you're watching this, just write it in the comments. I check out, so you can still write it if you're watching this on a replay. It's all love. But just type that one word in there. Funny, today I started getting a bunch of birthday wishes, and it's August 11th. My birthday is July 10th. I'm going through, people are like, yo, I'm getting an alert, it's your birthday. I guess somehow on Facebook, my birthday got changed to today. Um, I don't know, I think it was when I did Fly Private, I might have put the birthday in for Fly Private, and I guess it changed my whole account. I don't know why, but that was pretty funny, birthday wishes today. I was cracking up at that. And, I got to hang out with some of my people yesterday, which was really dope, and just kind of just, catch up in life. And, again, those check-ins and checkups and check-ons, whatever you want to call it, it comes like, man, just get to see where people are at. Like, you ever seen somebody that you've known for 20 something, 20, 30 years, and see them, and it's like, it feels like there's so much that happens. And there's just so much constantly we're being bombarded with information and everything else. So, life, man, life just continues to life, and we just gotta, figure out how to really just ride the wave and understand that all we can do is work the best we can, practice as much as we can, and that will necessarily take away the issues or all the things that are happening around us, but it will give us a better opportunity to deal with it. As we get older, for y'all young kids too, seeing your parents, as we get older, you see a lot more examples of struggle, of fear, um, sickness, people not being in health. What that kind of can do to us is also make us start thinking about that. We start to take on other people's problems in that energy. So I want y'all to just, be aware, careful of how we're talking about everything, because we can really get caught up in the negative side super easy. Like, for whatever reason, our minds are just programmed to be negative, to think negative. That's just a much easier pathway for us to go downhill, right? I think it's a little bit more difficult to take that journey upwards and have that. I look at life as us supposed to observe, right? And you can observe much more from a higher perspective, right? So it's thinking about like high vibration, higher energy, lighter energy. You kind of up here when you feel weighted down, when you feel things are against us, when we feel there's a lot of struggle, pressure, and gotta change that perspective. You have to practice on focusing on the things that are more positive in our life. The things that we do have, not what we're missing. Uh, not focusing always on our problems and our issues. Not to say don't focus on your health and don't address the issues. But it's more of like, how are we responding to this information and the things around us? How we're participating with it. Is it okay? Is it life? Are we, okay seeing these things happening because we understand we don't have control? Or are we constantly trying to control everything? Because if we're constantly trying to control everything, man, life is tough. It gets really difficult because everything's relying upon outside experiences and outside of an environment. So, again, we're here to inspire y'all to get on your journey. So, one of the main prompts we're always going to ask is, what does success mean to you? And success can mean a wide variety, but what does it mean to you? Just monetary things, just material items, or are there other things to success? And for me, it's being able to have choice to how to use my time, where I want to spend it, what I want to focus on, who I want to be, where do I want to go. And to me, that's the luxury. Having the most, this, that, I've seen so many miserable millionaires and people like that. So think about that as you always watch this and hang out with me. Think about taking that mask off and reveal all your truths. What good success? What good success mean to you? If you're checking me out on Instagram right now, come over to YouTube. URL's right over there. And subscribe. Hop in with us. Come hang out. So, for those of y'all that don't know me, and that's kind of why I'm here, why I'm doing this. I've had a long career in media, marketing, entertainment, management, and for a while, when I went on my personal journey back in 2017, what I call my 360, I basically looked at my whole and who I am, my body, so my physical, my mental, my spiritual, and separated them and worked on them each individually so I could be here and be whole. To start, way back, I come from California. I'm born in San Francisco. I was a b-boy at a very young age. Hip hop was something that became my culture, my way of life, how I really express myself. For me, the thing that I did was dance. And, I was procuring greenery from my pops. He had some and, ended up selling. And we were singing to a music convention called the Gavin back in the day, 1990, 91. Long story short, some people in the music industry took a liking to me, offered me an internship, and, said if you move to New York, come through. We got you. Let me see. How low is it? If that's better. Is that better on YouTube? Let me know if the sound's a little bit better now. And so I came out here. First record I ever worked was Diamond D, Best Kept Secret, and then went on to road manage my beat. Went on to work at the Source magazine, and did my whole kind of career, in that space. And when I got to the Source the first time, I was in marketing. I wasn't even on the editorial side yet. So I was doing music. It's funny, like, little jewel, little not really known thing. So Benzino was Ray Dog back in the day, and I actually was his record label when he had this thing called Surrender Records. He put out this compilation with the Wise Guys. It was a good idea. He was trying to bring together all of the hood, in the surrounding Boston area, and get them all on a project together. It was actually pretty positive. But yeah, so it was pretty funny that I was that, and I would see where he's at now. A lot different, but is what it is. So I was at the Source then. Ended up coming back to the Source in 98, working with Source Sports on the editorial side. One of the fun things I actually did at Source Sports was I took Black Rob to the Pro Bowl. Black Rob, rest in peace. I took Black Rob to the Pro Bowl and actually took him surfing. That actually was crazy. I actually got this old Pro Bowl jersey. I mean, these things are huge. This was Pro Bowl in 2000. No, man, I wish I could wear this, but this was an extra large then, right? Look how big this thing is. This thing is huge, right? I couldn't even wear that no more. But took him surfing, and it was really dope. So that was one of the fun things. And I ended up becoming the lifestyle editor at the Source. And when I was the lifestyle editor at the Source, I did I'll go through this one day. I'll get some pages and break out, show you guys a bunch of stories. But basically, I was the guy who put like flavors of the month, so all the products in the store. So that's why I was big in the sneaker world, right? Because back then there was only a few magazines that you could really see sneakers in, and the Source was one of them, right? It was like the Source, Slam, Vibe, and then the East Bay catalog is the only places you really see sneakers. So that's where I kind of got at that. And then while I was at the Source, I learned how to become an editor by watching people, by asking the questions, and I learned how to make a magazine. Shout out to Joey Trezor, rest in peace. He was the circulation guy. He was the production director, and that's how I basically learned a lot of the behind the scenes of how to put a magazine together. And then from there, I created my own magazine, LTD. This was the very, very, very first issue of LTD magazine. Shout out to Barbito, Jonathan Mannion, Sir, and yeah. So this was like, streetwear by us, for us, and it was really about celebrating our culture by us. And then I put out Ink magazine. So I'm the founding editor in chief of Ink magazine. We did like the first 4 issues of Ink, and I thought this was a really, really dope project, man. There's some other pics right there. Me and we got Danny Trejo, me getting tattooed on Miami Ink on the TV show, Tommy, and it wasn't a tattoo magazine. Like if y'all see Ink magazine now, it looks like a tattoo magazine. When we were doing Ink magazine, what we created was a lifestyle publication that happened to focus on people with tattoos. That's what Ink magazine was about. Now it's just like all tattooed out. And like I said, from there went into management, and I managed Jonathan Mannion, the photographer. I managed DJ Clark Kent, rest in peace. I managed Nigel Sylvester, who's out there killing it, just absolutely murdering shit right now. Sean C. and LV, Greg Una when he was Mr. Flawless, and so when I went 2017, well actually then I started Chef for Hire, right? So Chef for Hire, I started doing dinners, and I started really focusing on developing that brand. And I kind of left the management thing, so I stepped away, and then along with that, did my inner journey, and from there, it was like not necessarily that I isolated from everything, but I definitely took a step back. I definitely was like, all right, let me really focus on myself here. And as I did that, social media, podcasts, actually when I started my podcast in 2018, it wasn't that crowded, it wasn't that crazy. And I ended up stopping because me and my wife separated, and it was just a lot happening personally in my life, and I needed to just focus on that. And so long story a little bit shorter. Fast forward to now, I just had like something's happened on me. I have Chef for Hire as a brand. I have Fly Private Social as the space, and then brought back Mask Off, which is great. But Mask Off is really listening to other people's stories and allowing them to reflect on their life journey. And so it's not really me and my perspective at all. It's just giving people a safe space to really express themselves so we can find out who they truly are as the people we know. A lot of times love. But there was something missing from me. There was this just, I guess I wanted to have a voice again. I wanted to be able to say certain things and didn't really have a platform to do it. So created the streaming platform, with Hawaii Mike, and it's just Hawaii Mike Live. And this is going to be the space, the hub where, we're going to be doing Mask Off Mondays, which is basically, really just like weekly check-ins, talking about life, mental health, and hip-hop. Just kind of like, I feel like those pillars are, what are very important in my life. And from that, that's how I kind of do is just I feel like something's creative or something's cool or something's fun, and I enjoy it, I go in, I attack that, and then um, I allow that. And hopefully, I put it out there in the world. If y'all like it, great. If it grows, fucking awesome. If not, I'm still having fun, and I still get to express myself, my thing. So, just wanted to kind of give that to you, and now you kind of let you guys know who I am for those who don't know who I am or why I'm even here, like who is this guy and why is he connected to certain people. But if you check out Mask Off with Hawaii Mike, you can find it right here on the YouTube page, or you can go just Google it. It's an Apple Podcast, it's Spotify, it's everywhere you listen. You'll see kind of a wide variety of some of my friends and different things that they do. Everybody I've interviewed, I consider somebody that, there's a friend I've known them probably most of them, probably 90% of them over 20 years. Maybe a few people like DC Sabathia, I probably know for like 10 years or so. But it's really about, encouraging folks to have these open dialogues and conversations with their peoples, because we're all going through things, and a lot of the times it just helps to speak to our own people, to be heard, right? A lot of times we just need to be heard. And so that's what these spaces are for. I felt I wanted to be heard and, share certain things and put things out there in the world, you know? Man, that's kind of really it, man. So, I'll eventually, figure out how we start adding some people in, bringing some guests by here, adding some guests, once I have my overlays and everything done, all the different camera views, and we can bring in different guests. So we'll have some fun with this. But for now, it's just your boy. It's just me hanging out with y'all. So if y'all got anything you want to throw in the chat, let me know. Like I said, if y'all didn't hear me before, the constant call to action with Mask Off is, how do you, what does success mean to you? How do you define success? Is it money, something else, family, travel, is it whatever it may be? Let me know what that is. Add that to the chat. But there's obviously a lot, going on in this world right now. And, I don't know about y'all, but, I've always looked at organized societies, few that control the many, as, very calculated, systematic approaches. And I also feel like, there's a book called I think it's The Secret History of the World. And it basically just says that, everything that is done, they basically hide in plain sight. They put it right in front of us, And a lot of times we're just it's like, it seems so outlandish, so crazy. It's like, nah, never. And it's literally right there, knocking us in the face, and we're in denial. Okay? It's like, nah, we can never believe that could be the truth. And I found this account. I don't even know how I found it. I feel like it just found me. But it's Instagram account, Ali's Iteri, Aeteri. I wanted to share the screen with y'all and show it, but I'm not knowing how to do that yet. So once I'm able to do that, we'll get there. But definitely want y'all to go check him out. Ali's Iteri. It's super conspiracy-like, but conspiracy with kind of having the receipts, talks about everything from, JFK being the last president to oppose Israel, warned about all of the Zionist activities and the way the world, as we're seeing it now, is will really just kind of bow down to Israel, right? Like, how are they doing these things? And, right now we're watching this live. They're telling us what they're doing. They're basically lying to our faces, and it's still going, right? So they're saying basically that's why JFK was assassinated. I mean, he wrote a book on cancer, basically saying cancer isn't actually a disease. He's saying it's a symptom. But then it also slides. He goes in there where he talks about cancer. I'm pretty sure it's mustard gas that got turned into chemotherapy. You know, so I mean, there's so many things that are happening behind the scenes or have been happening for so long, and they're just kind of starting to come to light now. It is a very tangled web that we weave, that is the woven that we live in. Um, it's scary because it's such an interesting sight. It's so articulated. It's articulated in such a fashion where it's so engaging. It's great, reporting. It's telling you these stories. It's also scary as shit because it's like, yo, the powers that be really don't care, right? It's they'll sacrifice everything for the power, and it's scary, man. Because I mean, these are the people in control. Now, what do we do? You know, what can we really do that's going to take effect now? How do we protect ourselves, our families, everything else from these enemies that we don't even know our enemies that are supposed to be the people taking care of. You know, somebody said the other day, kind of like, yo, scientists are aliens. Like they can't be human. They don't care about human life at all. How could he be human? And I thought about it. I'm just like, yo, that could be. It sounds like a movie. Sounds like something that they all I say is I'm thankful I do all the practices that I do and everything so that I can be in the best mental state possible. Because this is a tough place to live in right now. We are so distracted. We are being attacked from so many different places, at once on so many different levels, emotional, spiritual, psychological. It's warfare everywhere. There's propaganda from here, from there, from over there, and it just causes so much confusion, so much stress. How do you stay on point? How do you stay even healed? How do you stay strong? You know, it takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of practice. You know, it's not easy. But these guys are like, I want to figure out how to share this screen because he's got such interesting, um, takes on all of this stuff. Let me see if I can figure this. See how fast I am. Oh man, no, I don't think I can do it. 'Cause I gotta. It's a different browser. It's not like my browser, so I would have to do a what's it called? Damn it. I would have to log into my account and all that other stuff, so I can't do it. But just make sure y'all go check him out. Ali Zaitiri. Um, Let me see if I can even put it in the chat. Y'all can see it from there. That works. Instagram.com/Ali. So y'all can go check him out right now. Um, but yeah, it's really dope. There's actually another person I'm gonna talk about also. Wow, he goes crazy. He gets cooking. It's so dope. Um, I really got to figure out these things shares with you guys because even like the next topic I have, um, because again, like all this stuff that's happening out there, I think is to distract us, keep us off, sensitive, to keep us unbalanced, right? Fear, stress, uh, scarcity, all these different things make us easily controlled when we're in these mind states, right? And so they throw so much at us. They don't want us to just be able to live our lives, to be grounded, to be in nature, to be amongst each other. They want us to be in comparison. They want us to be fighting with one another. They want us to be judging and tearing each other down. And the more you have an understanding of who you are, the more you understand your place in this world, the more you understand how to participate. By participate, I mean so many of us I've seen want to change what's happening around them. I'm not saying that's a bad thing in the sense of yes, there's a lot of terrible things happening and we wish we could change them. But a lot of the time we can't actually just snap our fingers and change these things. And what happens is we can't, we get frustrated, we get angry, we get upset. And it doesn't help because now we can't change these things, right? And then we don't know how to participate. And for me, one of the things that's really helped me in my path, in my journey, especially with my mental health, is something called the gene keys. The gene keys are based off of the I Ching. The gene keys basically like a roadmap of you and your full potential from your lowest to your highest, from your shadows all the way to full enlightenment and perfection of being, right? Like the ultimate human being, future human. Not to say we can get there or anybody has attained that, but it does show that potential is for you. And I mean, it's basically astrology. It uses your birth date, it uses the time you were born, the city you were born in, all of those things to create this chart, this whole flow, and of who you are. We're going to bring that up. Man, I got to figure all this out because I would love to bring that up. I don't even know how to do that. I don't even know how to bring mine up. Um, let's see. We're doing all this in real time anyway, man. We'll figure this shit all out. Browse. But it'll show everything from like your life's path, your brand, your voice, like who you are, what you're here to do. Um, like it's really an amazing breakdown, and we have like an online retreats. So if you want to go check them out, it's just genekeys.com, genekeys.com, and you can just input all your stuff, and it outputs a free. Oh man, let me pull up PDFs. Oh, I don't know where it's at. I wish this was easier, man. I'm gonna get this down, you guys. But we'll come back to this one time, and I'll basically when I know how to really move through this, when we do all the different scenes, I'll walk you guys through this. We'll do a maybe we can bring on a guest and do theirs. But just to talk about it real quick, like I said, it's basically a roadmap, and it breaks things down from what's called your shadows, right? Your lowest of your low, and then to your gift, which is like kind of like the pathway to from your lowest point to your highest point of enlightenment. And um, you know, it shows you, really just kind of like again who you are, who you can be, and your real like just full potential in this space, in this lifetime. And it's called a hologenetic profile, right? So like my life's work, my brand, my purpose, right, is goes from immaturity to expansion to super abundance, right? So my lowest, my immaturity, I am, very self-centered. I am, you know, under pressure, scared, but as I expand, I open myself up. It's like when you expand and you open your heart, you start to open yourself up to a different space and different opportunities start to arise, right? And so if I can focus on that part and see when I'm acting immature, I can learn the lessons, learn the things that I need to figure out so I can kind of move on from that and get back into the expansion. I wish I could really show this to you guys visually. It would help a lot. And one of the main activities, components of the gene key is contemplation, right? So really sitting there and feeling like, when am I feeling immature, and when do I respond, or I can respond, when do I react immaturely? And be able to contemplate on that, those feelings, feel with that. And so when you get into a situation with certain ones that are similar to that, you know how to kind of respond in a better way. You don't always go back to that immaturity. And, it's like if in your life's work, it's also called your voice, right? What you're here to do. And I'm here to help people with expansion, to help people grow, to understand that in this lifetime, and period on this planet, there is more than abundance. There's super abundance. There's so much you don't even have to think about it. It's all there for you. If you're really on your path, really on your purpose, all the things that you need will manifest. They'll come to fruition. They'll just kind of happen. That's the beauty of living in your purpose. That's why I talk about knowledge of self so much. Because everything that we need is here. Everything. Our happiness, our joy is only here. The only way we find permanent happiness, permanent, joy and fulfillment is inside. Everything else is outward. So many of us get caught up in thinking relationships are going to help make us whole. And it's like, no. One times one is one, right? So one whole person, one whole person. One half times one half doesn't always make one. And then what if that half starts falling off? Now you're not whole anymore, right? So it's up to you to be whole. That's why they say on airplanes, put your mask on first. Without you putting your mask on, you're useless to anybody else because you're not alive. You know what I'm saying? If you try to go save everybody but yourself, what happens? And it's not selfish unless the intention behind it is selfish. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what kind of changes it. We have to take care of ourselves. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. If you want to be the hero, you got to be alive to be the hero. But it's like, that happiness bug, not even a happiness bug, like the desire, the want to be happy, but then we place our happiness in the hands of other people and how they act is so wild to me. And it's something that we have to realize is so temporary, right? Like, why would you give your happiness or your ability to be happy or fulfilled into somebody else's hands and say, no, please, make me feel good, you know? Yes, having somebody else, significant other, having other people in your life, 1,000% adds value. 1,000%. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, without you being happy, you working on your happiness, and you relying on outside experiences or outside sources like other people to determine your happiness, temporary. You have to work on it. That's just like getting the second scoop of ice cream with somebody else has into, right? You know what I'm saying? That's like, I want to go to this concert. You shouldn't care who goes with you. Go by yourself. It's the most incredible concert. Could you do that? But going with friends makes it even better. You know what I'm saying? It's just really, that kind of thing. Um, and, something like Gene Keys helps me to, stay on that path of personal transformation. Um, it helps me to tap in to the parts of me that, not that I don't like, parts of me I want to work on, parts of me that I think I could be better at, parts of me that if I polish them up a little bit, just shine so much brighter, you know? Um, and, I didn't even really talk about it. And the theme for this talk today and this live is happiness. That's why I'm talking about it. And happiness, talk about the 12 rules. It's the last one. It's the 12 rules, right? I wanted to start with it because I think happiness is something a lot of us, well, most of us want. I'm pretty sure most of us want to be happy. We don't know how to get there. And again, we think it's outside of us. We think it comes from, you know, how people think of us, all of the things that we have, um, our success in business, and other things, you know. But if I'm not good with me, I'm always judging myself, or I don't feel good because I'm not healthy, um, physically or mentally or emotionally. I'm not, you know, being progressive and doing the work. That's why again, it's happiness, total satisfaction amongst oneself. You know, as kids, I think there's so much judgment, and I think we're taught how to. I don't know if we're taught. Somewhere down the line, we become so judgmental of who we are. And sometimes it's because of how other people treat us. You know, a lot of times as kids, people point out flaws in us and how we look or whatever. For me, it's always my ears. You know, people always talk shit. Oh, you got big ears and and it's like, all right, but I can't really cut my ears off to satisfy you. At some point, you gotta see like this is who I am. Now, obviously kids in high school and grade school and shit like that are mean or used to being that. But you can choose who you hang out with. You don't have to be around people that don't like you. You don't have to be around people that only care about your physical looks or your material possessions, right? That's the energy you put out. And that's what, again, going back to it, once you're satisfied with who you are, once you are okay, like this is who I am, right? Then you can go, well, how can I make what I have better? How can I like me even more? Right? So that may be how I groom myself. That may be how I dress. That may be how I talk, I walk. That may be how I exercise, what I eat. Right? It could be so many different things. The thing is, once you get to that point of wanting that, it becomes even more fulfilling. It goes beyond satisfaction. Now I'm starting to feel fulfilled. Right? So, you know, Can you stand in the mirror? Hey, look at yourself, right? You might laugh at first, you might giggle, you might be a little embarrassed, whatever, but sit there. That's who you are. Now, if there's things you can change, sure. You want to change them? Go right ahead. But do it for you. Don't do it for anybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like, as long as you're doing it for you. Because if you do it for somebody else, what the other person, that person leaves? What that person's taste changes? What if they all of a sudden go, oh, I don't like brunettes, I like redhead? You know? All of a sudden, you gotta change? Nah. Sometimes you just change people, and that's the thing. Relationships are temporary. Life is temporary. Everything is temporary. So, so do the best at being satisfied with you. That's going to be the consistent. That's the most consistent thing in your life. You. You're never not you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you gotta be happy with who we are. And that's all the idea of fucking perfection, man. I don't know anything that's perfect out here. You know, the closest thing I would say is the universe, right? How the solar system, the galaxy, the universe, how everything's put together, that's about as close as we have to perfect, right? But I don't think there's perfect weather, even though it's the same sun that's up there, beaming the same, then we end up having clouds. Other atmospheric changes, it creates rain or thunder or lightning or snow or whatever. So, you know, not this person, not you. Things may have seemed perfect at some points in time, but we can't rely on those things to bring us our happiness. Um, so, you know, at the end of the day, we have to want to feel good, feel better. Like, when you embrace that journey of wanting, like, constantly looking at yourself and tweaking, constantly saying, how can I be better? Not judging yourself and going, I suck, I'm terrible, I hate this, I hate that. Going, oh, well, what can I do to better myself? What can I do to feel better when I wake up? What can I do to feel better, throughout the day? Are there supplements? Whatever it's a constant evolution of life. You gotta kind of look at. Like you know how we think about exercise, right? When I talk about gratitude, you can wake up in the morning and just be happy you woke up. Like Jid, one of his albums, we'll talk this a little bit later, but one of his songs, Glory, that I woke up. I'm alive and alert. That's beautiful. Like, just the fact you get to wake up, you're alive and alert. There's people that didn't wake up. There's people that are on life support. They're not alert. There's people that they have things like Alzheimer's or other kind of, you know, diseases where they don't have their faculties, their mind's not in a great position, in a great place, right? So how do we program ourselves to have that gratitude? Even for things like working out. Think about the things you say and how you look at it. You don't have to work out. Get to work out because my body is strong enough physically that I can do it. That's much different than having to do something, right? It's not a punishment. Exercise is not a punishment. Exercise is a luxury. There's a lot of people that can't exercise. Injuries, um, disease, birth defects, um, overweight, like other health issues, heart issues, this, that. There's so many, right? And in order to honor life, even to honor people like they can, or honor yourself, is to work out, is to do the best you can. And we have to learn how to program ourselves from the negative instead of program that positive, you know? Because start to change that perspective, you start to impact life in a different way. Appreciation change, right? Again, this is about being happy. This is about total satisfaction amongst yourself. You know, in your body, in your physical, mental, spiritual, all of that. You know? So again, what does success mean to you? You know, are you happy? Are you committed to working at being happy through all the distractions, through all the media noise, through all the friends and your circles and family and everybody else? Can you choose you? Like, it's kind of scary. It's kind of isolating, right? Sometimes also because you know, I want you to go hang out here, I want to go hang out there, but sometimes you got to learn how to say no. No is one of the most liberating things. You know, be able to say no to do something you know you should be working on is liberating. It's big, you know. Um, and it's something we should practice. Those boundaries are important. Those choices that we make to serve ourselves are important. So that's you know, the kind of mental health part of talk today. You know, just again, we're always gonna. It's something that is part of my life, and again, it's the foundation of what we're doing here is embracing this journey to our highest self, our best self. Um, they don't want us to do that. They don't want us strong as individuals. They want us scared as population. You know, they want us scared and retreating and fighting one another and at all odds. And again, quiet, don't resist, just comply. It's a very scary world we're in. My theory about all of this is they say it's darkest before the dawn. Uh, the end of the Mayan calendar, the Great Reset. We saw things, we're still seeing things, but it's not a light switch. It doesn't happen overnight like that. It's a cycle, right? So it takes minutes for us to get there. It's not something that just happens. Bang, we're out of it. So I think we're still seeing that. We're still seeing, come on, we have 4 concurrent genocides happening right now. Congo, Sudan, like it's crazy. Like we're seeing all of this stuff. But if you think about how much they've been numbing us, right, through social media, like why can you go on Instagram and see people being murdered? You know what I'm saying? Like, why? On social media? They didn't used to show us those things on TV like that. And if they did, they'd give you a crazy disclaimer and tell you to, get the kids out of the room and things of this thing. They are sharing all of this to numb us so that we're more complicit. It's just, it's just happening. And while it's been happening for thousands and thousands of years, it's never happened in real time. In broadcast in real time like this. Like, it's not easy, you know what I'm saying, to live through this. And so, yeah, we got to work on our happiness. We got to work on all the things that we can really control. But today, August 11th, it's an interesting day. I talk a lot about celebration. I feel like we're being programmed to only celebrate when we're told. Like we have to be given permission to celebrate. We have to be given dates and things that they put on the calendar, like holidays. Um, and what I think it does is it skews the why, and what we're celebrating. I don't think we should need a date because I don't think there was an actual date natural progression of living, right? And I think there was a lot of different things that happened that contributed to the start of it. One of them could have been, you know, this this party that Kool Herc's sister had, the DJ for, on August 11th, 1973, 1520 Sedgwick. That could have been it. But from my understanding also, that graphic that we know isn't a real graphic. That graphic was made for a t-shirt. That wasn't an actual flyer for that party. Now we've seen tons of other flyers and tons of other party joints. But supposedly, again, I'm not 100% sure, but this is the story I was told by people I trust. That was just made for a t-shirt for the brand that we consider. And, again, history, his story. Come on, we know this wasn't one person's perspective. This wasn't like somebody mad like Kool Herc was like, all right, hip hop is started. What did they call it? Like the media called it hip hop. Hip hop is something he said. Like DJ Hollywood, I think, coined the term. He used to say it, when he was singing. That being said, because also there's tons of videos with people saying, "Oh, hip hop started before that," and it wasn't just this one thing. Oh, Kurt, they gave it to him, and this. So again, now we have people at odds. We have people saying, "Nah, I was there. This wasn't this. This wasn't true. And it was like this." Or instead of us, because it's an argument none of us can prove. I don't think there's a way to prove that somebody started it, that this was the party, right? Because you can have people that were like, "Nah, I was doing it way before then." Nah, there's somebody doing graffiti, or somebody that rapped before, or something. So it was a movement. It was a collective movement of people around this time that I believe were just moving, expressing themselves in such an authentic way that it resonated stronger and vibrated, more than any other kind of music. And it became more than music also because it borrowed, right? And by borrowing, it was almost like throwing out lifelines, right? To different kinds of cultural creativity and expression that people could attach themselves to because it was relatable, right? And that borrowing was sampling. We sampled music, we sampled vernacular, we sampled fashion and style, we sampled like all kinds of things, right? Dance, and put it all together. And as it grew, it sampled more and more. And if you see it now, the footprint keeps getting larger and larger. But I still believe it's rooted in the foundation of authenticity. And so it's kind of ironic that this date that we created is inauthentic. It's supposedly not, not a real flyer. It wasn't really, those things were happening before this. But to give us a point of celebration, I think we should celebrate more just this one day. Like, we have accomplished through this culture, through our just natural creativity, and gone farther than anyone has expected or believed we could go or would go. Just period. Like, it's 50 years. We have changed so many different industries. We have infiltrated and really planted a flag almost. We're all throughout media. Whether you look at somebody like an Ari Melber, the dancing weatherman, look at media like advertising with the music, the style. We're represented in so many different ways. Collaborations in fashion, automotive, CPG. Like, there's a lot. So again, I don't see how this could be created by one person. It's not like an operating system. It's so much bigger than that. And it is what it is because of all of the different perspectives, creativity, and contribution from all of the people. Then not only are the entertainers and the people in the music industry, I'm talking about also, you got to look at all the people that bought the music, all of the people that go to the concerts, that buy the clothes, right? All of the different ways that we participate to support and continue to grow this culture. So, you know, well, I guess we need some kind of North Star. I also think it's kind of like disingenuous a bit to all of the people that were there. You know, you guys want to check out? There's a book called The City of Hip Hop by DJ Rob Swift, and I don't have the book in front of me, so I forget the other author's name. But they say, their theory is that hip hop could have started anywhere except, or at any time, except when it did here in New York. And there's a few things they say contributed to it. One of them was a gang meeting, a truce that happened at a Boys and Girls Club. It was kind of, lightly depicted. That was kind of what the inspiration was for the beginning of the Warriors, the gang truce, in the beginning of that movie. And that helped to open up the Bronx and allow people to kind of move around and interact in a way they weren't able to because it was too dangerous before. And then there's just so many different things. You got to check out the book. But nobody thought this would be where it's at, right? And I think that's why people all want credit now and are trying to define who gets the credit for what and how it started. And I think, I guess that's kind of important in a sense, but I also don't think we can get exact on it because there's going to be too many different contradicting perspectives on who was there, who started it, everything else. And while maybe we can figure out a way to work to that in a positive way, as long as it stays positive, I'm down for it. But I would much rather focus on how do we start to own our influence? How do we start to own the beauty of how we can move culture? Because that's why all these companies want us. Actually, I'm sorry. They need us. They don't want us. If it was up to them, we would not be at Paris Fashion Week the way we're at Paris Fashion. Trust me. Just wouldn't. It wouldn't be happening. Louis Vuitton has been racist since their fucking whole existence, and they don't want it. They need us. That's a lot of value, right? I just think we focus on some of the things that are not so that are unnecessary or don't really contribute to our growth and ownership as a culture. I think that's what we got to be focusing on. And we have to focus on, like, how do we bridge the gaps now? How do we start to bring the generations together? How do we start to collaborate? And I'm starting to see it, right? That's when you heard me talk about the clips. They are, again, they're my age. Malice is 52, Push is 48. They're Generation X, but they're a millennial group. And that's who loves them. And you're starting to see more music coming out. Tyler just came out. His shit is, different, right? Sounds obviously influenced by Pharrell, but it's not drill. He's pushing the creative boundaries. Then you see with both of them, their influence through pop culture, through collaboration, through media. Again, they both had great rollouts. This is incredible, still going. I missed that concert, but they are, I think paving the way or creating a bridge, building a bridge for us to be able to, bridge the gaps of the generation. I think this shit is awesome, man. Then who else just came out? Where's my notes? My man JID, Jid. Is it Jid or JID? I always forget. I guess it's Jid. But his album, I know I touched on that one song, Glory. It was pretty dope. And but yo, he's got some actual, like the pre-lux version is really dope. This guy, Eminem, Westside Gun, Clips is on there, Malice. I mean, Malice took a break, but he came back with a vengeance, bro. Like, no joke, killing. He is just out here, like, with it. But Jid, lyrically, I think he's sonically, he's got a great sound, voice. Lyrically, he's really dope. His delivery. Fucking with J. Cole, man, I guess, sparring with that dude really got him up there. Like, he's a beast. Joint with Eminem, like, M killed it. The Westside Gun joint is pretty dope. Like I said, the Clips, man. I think they're gonna be on a lot of joints. You know what I'm saying? People are gonna be hitting them up like crazy. It's there. So, there's so many times we're talking about hip hop is dead and all this, and it's like, hip hop isn't dead. We just haven't chosen to define it in a way that we all agree. I think that's why it feels dead. It feels disjointed, right? It doesn't feel like our hearts are beating together, like we don't feel together, right? It's not communal right now. And hip hop was always kind of that. It was tribe, it was vibe, like, well, not necessarily one, but we were one. I think I'm starting to get some of that feel back, the lyrics are coming back, you know. I'm curious, man, what 2026 is going to look like. So 2025 is 9 years, right? So we're ending a cycle, moving to new beginnings in 1 year. So we're seeing things with opportunity to change. Are we going to own it? You know what I'm saying? Like, are we going to take hold of it? Are we going to drive it? That's up to us. So, like, what I'm really curious about now is, can we go that ownership route? Can we start to take control for real, and make this thing ours? Like, why not? The influence is the greatest, highest, the most valuable. And we have it. They all got to come to us for it. I see it so clearly. I wish more of us could just embrace that idea and, collaborate and build together. If we did it, we would be unstoppable. Or that's probably all they want to do is try to stop us. But again, there's strength. We have it all there. And I believe there's more of us than of them. We just got to really figure out who we are, what we're about. Like, let's define what hip hop is. Let's define, you know. But what's out there, man? I wonder. I'm curious what y'all are feeling, man. Is there any music out there that caught y'all attention lately? Anything new? Drop that in the comments. Let me know. again, even if I, watching this, I'll come back and check them. But let's, keep sharing some music. Y'all got some music you want to talk about? Shoot me a DM or shoot me a message, and I'll add it to the next chat when we in here. Because I think, music has always been such a connector. And, for me, hip hop, culturally, musically, it's how I know everybody. It's how I'm connected to my world. Um, and so, I think we should continue to just uplift and share and challenge each other there, like creatively. So I'm excited to see what else is coming out. Oh, actually, speaking of creativity, how y'all feeling about Alchemist right now? I think like Alchemist is on like a fucking generational run. You know, I think what was it? I think Conflict did a report. They said something like 70 projects in the last 10 years. I mean, after that, Alfredo 2 joint was crazy. But every Junior 2 Choice joint was crazy. Yo, he's on tour right now with Erica Badu. He hasn't even put the music out. He's just performing it live first. And like, bro, that's so dope. Like, I love that we're challenging the norms and approaching things in a different way. I think Al has done an incredible job, you know what I'm saying, at creating a lane, and doing like these full 360 projects independently. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit is so dope. From obviously producing, mixing, everything, all the production, pressing a vinyl cassette sometimes, all the merch that they're doing, specialty merch, the pop-up listening events, the tours, like it's all there, and it's like he's built an incredible ecosystem and content machine that just keeps pushing out. Whatever his formulas are, he's got them dialed in, and the beauty about Al, what I really love about him is he just keeps to himself. You know what I'm saying? He's just doing what he does, and it just keeps popping out all kinds of dope projects. But really picking and choosing what he wants to work on. I really want to know what his process has been over these past 10 years. And what his team looks like, I know it's him and his brother. I know his brother's still rocking with him. But it's like, who else? Has he got some, like, cats that we don't know about out there? It's like a low-key team that's just like, they're just putting it together. And it just seems so cohesive and well thought out. I'm really enjoying watching. Like I've known Al a long time. I've known Al since I think I met him when he was still signed to Tommy Boy, but like right after the when he was in school, out here in New York. We used to do a little friendly business back in Cali business. But it was, it was dope, man, to see that. I worked with Mobb Deep also, and he worked with Mobb Deep, obviously. Oh, speaking of which, the Mobb Deep album, produced by Havoc and Alchemist. Y'all ready for that one? What y'all thinking? I want to know how many T verses they got that you never heard. I know there's a bunch. Because he used to record all the time. I know there's a bunch of music they didn't put out. I'm so curious. I cannot wait. That's actually like, what they're doing over there. What I think by the time this comes out, Supreme Clientele 2 will probably drop this week or next week. It's supposed to. Ray just came out with an album, but Supreme Clientele, the Mobb Deep album, I think. Ghostface. I said that. De La Soul. And I forget who the other artists was, like 6 or 7 different artists that they're putting out through Mass Appeal. With my man, shout out to Sean C. So yeah, they got a bunch of projects coming out, music. Oh, I think maybe even I think the Slick Rick album was from there also. That's one of the seven. So it should be interesting, man. Seriously. Again, like we got to embrace. We have to figure out how to get the ageism out of hip hop and embrace us maturing, right? And that's not to say again, like let's not do what Benzino did and come out and do some shoot 'em up, bang bang, drill rap shit as a grandfather. Like that's not what we need. But to come out and spit some fucking lyrics and still be able to shine and do some like real music, I'm all for that. You know, like Black Thought is what 50 something, and he constantly murdered. But again, the roots is the band. So I don't know if we look at them in that same lens. It's not like hip hop. I mean, not like rap. Like when we look at everybody that's so old, so fast. So I'm curious, man, if we can dead this ageism bullshit. Because the older I get, the more I start to realize the age is just a number, man. And it's really like, y'all want to see it when you don't think about age, when you really take care of yourself, go check out Lenny Kravitz. Y'all ain't seen Lenny Kravitz? Yo, yeah, man, he's doing his thing. Lenny Kravitz looks like he's about 42 right now. He's I think 61 or some shit. Yo, it's crazy. I'm I'm definitely trying to live that life. You know what I'm saying? Like he's killing it in a great way, in the best way possible. He looks fucking incredible. Um, I couldn't believe he's 61. I keep forgetting. Don't cry and I'm like what? Like it's nuts. So if age is something that we can do gracefully, age is something that doesn't have to beat us. Um, obviously there's certain things as we get older, 100% we got to slow down. But the more you, the less you do, the more you slow down. The more you start working out, taking care of yourself, eating proper, getting a good spirit. Being in good spirits, I cannot tell you how much that shit helps. Like working to be happy, working. That's why I feel satisfaction amongst oneself, being fulfilled, being satisfied, being okay with who you are and what you have, will put you so far ahead. So many of us constantly comparing everybody else. And that shit does nothing positive for us. You know? That's not to say don't look at somebody and go, wow, that's incredible they got there. As far as do your research and see, wow, that's motivate you. That's completely different. I'm saying you're looking at somebody else and you, oh, why they got that shit? I don't have that shit. And you keep thinking, well, oh, this is so fucked up. And, oh, damn, they're sick and this sucks. And now I'm gonna get that's not things like that. Like have empathy, have compassion, give all the good positive vibes to people, but don't feed yourself negativity. Don't eat a negativity sandwich, bowl of negative soup. You know what I'm saying? Like that's it's not good for anybody. And that's to me, that's the cancer. That's those kinds of thoughts and thinking of that's what cancer is. To me, that's how it builds up all the weakness, all the disease, and all the negativity inside of our body is that kind of thinking. So you can't be in that lane, man. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You know. So I say, stay positive. Um, work on it. Be healthy. Um, strive. Want it. Not easy. Take commitment. Take discipline. You're gonna be tired. Days you don't want to do it. Trust. It's worth it. Like, what I started, almost a year and a half ago. I started 75 hard almost a year and a half ago, and I dead ass. I swear to you, I'm in the best shape life. My physique is in the best shape I think I've ever been. Period. Even after I think when I was like 30-ish, 31, when my second son was born. Actually, no, I was 29, 30. Yeah, so even around then, like I don't think I was as good a shape as I am right now. Like my physique looks better. I feel like I have more stamina now. Um, I do still have like I'm not gonna tell you like I'm perfect. Like my right side, my right leg, I part my Achilles. There's still weakness in my calf, and I'm still trying to work through it, which created other pain and other things because my body has to compensate. But once you get into that mindset and you embrace that, it's like, nah, this you're gonna want it. And you're gonna want to feel better. You're gonna work towards that. And so that's to me is like the key to this. And that's why I wanna, have these conversations, put this information out there, um, and inspire not just like people my age, but how do we connect to the younger generation, right? Because we all get older. We all go through this thing in life, and it's such a trick and mind fuck that the knowledge you get through experience and as you get older is so valuable. It could have been so much more valuable to you when you were younger. And if you were able to use that information and apply that then, so not that everybody's open to receive it, but the more we can have these conversations, the more we can connect, the more we can share who we are, what we do, and why we do it, I think the more that we can inspire others around us to do not necessarily the same, but to do the same for themselves, whatever that may be. And that's something I think is super important. Um, I'm never telling you to do what I do. Not exactly, right? Because I don't know if it'll work for you. I don't even know if it's working for me. Because I try things and I constantly change it, you know, um, and switch things up. But when I do get certain activities and things I like, I stick with them until I feel like my body needs a change. And that's the thing. It's like it's a constant adapting, a constant evolution, a constant change. Our bodies are constantly changing. Our minds are constantly changing because all the different things that are coming our way, all the different things that we're experiencing, all the different work that we have, the challenges we have, the people we're visiting, the places we're at. Everything is new. Everything is different. Another reason I think gratitude is so important, to be able to wake up and just be grateful to have these opportunities, next challenges. Nothing's the same. And the way we experience it, the way we go through life is all different for every single one of us. We can all go through the same exact thing. We can never be in each other's shoes. So we can replicate the quote unquote same activity, eat the same food, but all their taste is so different to us. So, we gotta take that mask off. We gotta reveal our truths. The truths we like, the truths we don't like, the hard truths to accept, the scary things. And it's like, don't wait. Let's get after it. Let's go for it. That's why I'm here doing this, Like, real talk. I'm still figuring this shit out real time. I'm looking at that's why I keep looking down at my screen. I'm like, all right, is this still streaming right? Did I miss something? Am I fucking is it not even streaming right now? Can y'all hear me? Is the sound loud enough? Is this recording me okay? But at the same time, if I don't start now, when am I gonna start? All right? And the only one that knows what it's supposed to be, quote unquote, or what I want it to be is me. Y'all don't know. Y'all know what I give you. If I didn't say anything in the beginning about this being a temporary overlay, y'all might be out there like, yo, this shit is dope. This shit looks great. You don't need to change that. I thought this was permanent, right? But I want to make sure I have all of the pieces and all of the scenes and all of the sources laid out properly so I can just keep switching and transitioning and it's all there and I can't front. It's a little bit confusing. It's a little bit intimidating. Like I'm literally feeling like I'm in a fucking studio right now, you know what I'm saying, and producing the whole thing by myself. Um, but at the same time, it's like shit. Technology is allowing us to do this. I can set this up and be right here. The lighting's good. The sound hopefully is good. I think y'all can hear me. Looks like my levels are pretty good. So actually, can y'all hear me? Is there any issues? Anybody out there in the chat want to say if y'all can hear me good enough? Um, but we gotta get past that idea of judging ourselves, especially when it's things that we want to do. Um, and this is something that I want to do. I want to be out here. I want to be able to do this. I want to be able to share with y'all. And it's gonna take me a second to figure out, my delivery, my voice, my cadence before running the show, and how we do these episodes, and how we can be most engaging. I think the best way to get through it and to figure that part out is to do it in real time, do it live, get comfortable here, to replay these things, to watch them again, and go, all right, cool. Let me figure this out. All right, I can switch this up, I can change that. Oh, this didn't look the way I thought it did, or this didn't sound like that, or hey, what if we add these things in there, right? Like, because honestly, I want to have the chat there live, I know we're chatting, fuckers, love y'all, but, um, we're gonna get it there. We're gonna get it set up. I'm confident. I'm confident because I even got this far. Like, I'm proud of myself for that. Little pat on my back. Good job, thumbs up. Because before I probably would have been super harsh, critical, overly judgmental, and not started. Honestly, that's probably why I haven't done this yet. I probably could have did this during the pandemic. I probably could have did this whenever, right? But even with that, if I overthink that part of it, that just becomes judgment too, and then I'm thinking, well, why am I not doing shit? Oh, I should have done this, should have, could have, would have. None of that's gonna help. So, if you have something you're thinking about, if there's a creative endeavor, if there's a book you want to start, if there's somebody you want to speak to, wherever it is, yo, do it. Figure it out, right? Don't push it to the side. All those things that are happening, explore them. Let them get out. Let them see the light. And like it's liberating to even, be here and do this. And I, like Rick Rubin says, us creators, create for yourself. Success isn't that people are buying, watching, uh, talking about it, whatever. Success starts when you put it out. When you're comfortable enough to put it out there, say, I did this, I created this, here it is, that's the success, right? Just like I was talking about before, how are you going to stand out? How are you going to be, there's millions of people doing this, there's all kinds of people streaming and whatever. The only way I can do it is by being me, by being authentically me, by using my voice, my perspective, my experience, because nobody else can do that. Now, test is, will this grow? Will more people subscribe? Will more people be interested? That's what we're going to see. I'm glad y'all here with me for this live. Appreciate y'all. All four of y'all in here. But again, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you're watching this on replay, subscribe, comment, share. But also hit that notification. Hit that notification bell so when we go live, because eventually we're gonna do like some IRL joints. So we might go to a concert. We might go do some activities. Cooking. Definitely gotta do some cooking videos, right? I know y'all want to see that. I always get asked about cooking and throwing down in the kitchen, with either Fly Private Social or Chef for Hire. We'll bring some guests on, like I said before, have some surprises. And then, there'll be some other shorts and some different things on the YouTube channel that you'll be able to check out as well. One thing I want to do also is interview some of the doctors and specialists that I've worked with on my journey. Like I actually just did a little clip with actually not a kinesiologist. I thought he was a kinesiologist. It's Dr. Chung. He's out in Jersey in Moorestown. It's called the Chung Institute. And I forgot exactly how he explained it to me. It's not Ayurvedic, but I know it's integrative medicine, but he called it something else. ART was the acronym, but yeah, he does. So basically, what he does for me that I really like is called protoplasty, where he basically draws blood from my body in places where I have pain, fascia, other things of that nature. He actually takes it, mixes the blood with, I think it's with oxygen, and then shoots it back into those parts with a needle. So it's not the easiest thing to do, especially if you don't like needles. But it's also, let me not say this, because I have a very high level of pain tolerance, and needles don't really bother me like that. I get acupuncture all the time. He also does acupuncture, uh, but they shoot it, and it's like he says, "All right, we'll prick you," and it hits you, and it's like this cramping sound, like it's almost like crackling that's inside of you. It's like moving the needle around and shit. And so I don't mean to scare anybody who doesn't like needles, but it it helps me immensely because my 4, 5, 6 are all herniated, and so when it goes like down the side of your spine, I don't know if y'all get that one where it's like right here, kind of get that like right in there, and that kind of shoots down your arms and other places like that. So yeah, he shot that up, and I feel great. My neck, I don't have the same. There used to be like right when I would hit like right here, it would do like this pop. That's not there anymore. And then it just, man, it's amazing. And he used to be a Western medicine doctor as well, and learned about acupuncture because one of his, I think his aunt, somebody in his family had a chronic illness. He learned about acupuncture, and then he just got into it, and basically still uses some things from uh, Western medicine, but mainly, a lot of Eastern science and modalities. So I'm gonna definitely share that interview. It'll be short with that. I may bring my chiropractor on so he can talk about it. He's actually in Brooklyn for anybody out here. Um, and yeah, and just kind of like share different, like I said, doctors and practitioners, and, and again, with the hopes that you guys embrace your journey to figure out what works best for you. It's just me sharing the things that work great for me, right? And then if you can incorporate them or spark something from you, that's great. This is really about us and our journey. A couple of things that I will say, like, we should all do, um, quiet time, like some type of meditation, some type of stillness, some type of breathing, I think is super important for everybody. I think watching how you eat, um, and what you eat, find a balance. I also want y'all to know something. I eat really good. I eat a lot of different kinds of things. There's not really anything I won't eat, right? I eat less of a lot of things, but there's nothing I've really completely taken out. I do take sugar breaks and things of that nature, but I eat, all right? I think the intermittent fasting helps me, but then probably the most important thing we all have to do is movement. We all got to move around. We all have to be physical, right? If you have to start slow, start with walking, and walk up some stairs, and walk up some hills, and walk longer distances. If you can, just walk. If you have the time to get to your next meeting, you don't need to take the subway from New York or drive, walk. Or hop on a bike. Like, get exercise when you can. Um, push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups throughout the day are great. Shocking your body, hopping down, getting these quick swings, raise your heartbeat up. All of those things help so much, right? Because then it's not like, you just think about, I don't have time for 45 minutes. All right, cool, you have time for 2 minutes, though, right? Go knock out a quick 2-minute push-ups. Do some jumping jacks, right? All of those things help, and a lot of the times will inspire and get your body to a point where it wants to do more and get that real exercise regimen. So, last thing I'll say, stretching. Stretch. Y'all gotta stretch. Y'all gotta stretch. But try to stretch every day. Um, it helps because our bodies, man, they forget so fast. If I don't stretch for 2 days, it's like I haven't stretched in 3 weeks. You know, you can really see how much your body starts to not necessarily seize up, but tighten, right? And so staying loose like that, you know, spinal work, making sure your things are moving, shoulders moving, right? All of these things, because what it does is it circulates oxygen throughout your bloodstream. It gets oxygen to the places that it needs, twisting your spine, sends signals out, right? All the way. And everything is firing. That's what we want. And so when we don't do that and aren't like fluid in that way, we go and lift or try to pull something and reach the wrong way, throws everything off. Right? I don't want to be Debbie Downer, trust me, I'm not. I'm trying to be fucking, I don't even know what it is. Vicious uplifter, you know? And just, I want to inspire everybody. Y'all want to live. Y'all want to be happy. Y'all want to be good. Y'all want to enjoy the things you want to enjoy. You gotta work for it. You know? So that's what we're here doing, man. Now we're coming up to the end of the stream. You know, but thanks y'all for being here, checking me out, and we help to grow this. And the way we do grow, like y'all know, is subscription. Y'all can share this with some folks. You know, y'all can subscribe, hit that notification button. Y'all can engage, comment, all those good things. Bring one friend next week. Bring 2, bring 3, bring 5. You know, let them know if y'all got ideas or topics, things we should cover, talk about, guests. All that stuff, I'd love to hear about it. Y'all know how to get at me. Don't shoot me a DM, comment here, hit me on Instagram, ask me why you might, HWMK. And follow me there too as well. Follow me here. Follow for now. Rock the hoe. You know? All that good stuff. Shameless promotion. And just remember, y'all, happiness, the goal, the satisfaction amongst oneself, being okay, satisfied, happy, strong, whatever that means, that's what we want to work for. Alright? Happy. And the happier you are, the happier your environment around you becomes. The more happy interactions you have, because that's the energy you're feeding, that's what you're putting out there. Alright? That's what we want to go for. That's what we're trying to build on. Because you're building either way. You're either building down, right? You know, into the darkness, you can build up into the light, the high vibration. You know? And the more you do that, like I said, the more your surroundings start to feel like that. I'm not saying everything's perfect. Trust. You give to the universe, is what comes back. If we're constantly down, constantly upset, constantly all that, that's kind of what's going to be reciprocated back to it. You know? So, let's get it, man. I appreciate y'all. You know, we're going to be back pretty much every Monday, but the schedule is going to be there. Again, that's why I said tap in, really subscribe, hit the notifications. When you subscribe on YouTube, when you subscribe on Twitch, both at HWMK111, we'll be there and we'll have a schedule up. So we're going to be here, you know, most Mondays. We'll take some breaks every once in a while. So like I said, we're going to get some IRL stuff. I can do, you know, go on a surf trip, take y'all with me on that. Yeah, you know, that's it. Again, I appreciate y'all. It's Knock Off Mondays with Hawaii Mike. Subscribe, share, bring some friends, and we'll see you on the next one, you know. Alright? And hopefully, the production level on next week will be even better. Alright? We'll get through this, knock all this out, and yeah, that's it, man. Appreciate y'all. Love. Oh shit, now I gotta figure out how to turn this off.